I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is for the big homie, Will I Am. Will I Am. Talk to the big homie. Thank you very much for binging our content, sir.
I know.
That's I still don't get used to that. People say they watch our stuff or they have, I remember when we were first starting the channel and we talked about, I was looking at because I didn't know a damn thing about YouTube, so we took some of these courses or whatever, and remember the big thing was have bingeable content.
Oh my gosh, I forgot we watched that stuff. Yeah.
That was
I'm like, how can we have bingeable content? How would we even do that?
That's when we started creating the playlists.
Yeah, because we thought that would do it.
It did, but then, the whole thing got out of control. Like, there are a lot of fundamental things that we no longer can do.
I know. I really need to just take some time and...
But, so William ordered 2 songs, and so I'm like, hey man, send us your address so we can send you a free shirt. He goes, I just got my Sori Secret tank top. I ordered it this week. I will gladly take any mug or shirt though. Well, you know what? I'm sending you a Middle America shirt.
That's so funny.
Because I always get left out.
That's so funny.
I'm probably going to send him the mug too anyway. Anyway. So William, there's multiple ways to get your song reviewed, dear listener. William chose the Fast Pass options, $125. Gets you pushed to the head of the line. And we understand that this is 2 songs. And William reacted accordingly. By the way, William, if you do this again, that'll be your last time at 125. All your next songs will... Actually, just check your email. Okay, because if I say something on camera, Sori's going to strangle me. I can't do it. So, check your email, okay? But anyway, that's what William wants to do. He wanted us to do Twisted Sister, and we're going to... this is kind of like one song, but it's broken into 2 songs, so here we go. Twisted Sister, Horror-Teria, The Beginning, Captain Howdy, and Street Justice. I don't know. We've never heard Twisted Sister before, so this should be interesting.
There was a video game that we used to play when we were kids, and one of the cars that you could drive all over everybody else with. It was like cars that would kind of fight each other, kind of.
What was the name of that?
One of them was called Twisted Sister, I think.
Was it Crash Bandicoot?
No. Crash Bandicoot. No, it was literally cars, and you would they would smash each other, and blood would come from the car. I think so.
I think I remember. Yeah, and there was a Twisted Sister thing of it.
Yeah, you know what's funny? So you guys know I grew up in a very strict household and stuff. I can't remember if it was me or if it was my sister, but one of us got pissed at my brother, and we were sick of the game anyway, so we ran and told our mother that there was blood in the game, and she shut the game down. So, terrible sisters!
On that note, Twisted Sister! Let's go.
Wait. Why is this unplugged again?
I think these guys are probably like shock rockers. I'm looking at their pictures right now.
Okay. And go.
That's the Psycho thing, right?
Yeah. my gosh.
Uh,
You thought Michael Jackson as well, right?
yeah, which I actually feel terrible
saying that.
saying that, because what if the guy is innocent?
Yeah.
You know?
I just...
I know you. I know
No,
your thought process.
no, you don't know my thought process. There's too many stories that are the same with the same peccadillos in them.
Well, sweetheart,
And
there was
then-
only 2 stories. We only heard from 2 people in that documentary.
No, that's enough. And then the
Doesn't make sense that maybe they colluded to come up with the same story and have enough similarities. I mean, there's a couple holes in those stories. I hate the entire situation. I hate all these situations. I hate the Christine Blasey Ford, the Tara Reid, the Michael Jackson. You know I hate them? Because one of 2 things is true. Either an innocent person is getting their
either
entire
way, an innocent
character,
person is getting
their
hurt.
entire character is getting wrecked forever, and there's nothing that can reverse it. Because there's people that believe that Kavanaugh's a whatever, or that, you know, whatever. Or if it really happened, and then the people tell it 2 or 3 decades later, that means that they were carrying that bullshit for years by themselves while this evil bastard is being celebrated, whether it's, you know, Kavanaugh, Biden, or Jackson. And
Yeah.
they had to carry that for years and basically suffer in silence. And then when they finally did get it out, nobody believes them. So I hate
Yeah.
both of those situations. What's good about this song is that we know for a fact that Captain Howdy's guilty.
Right?
Right? So the name of the next song is Street Justice, we can just imagine. Which, you know, I'm probably going to enjoy Street Justice, and then Peter's probably going to send me a video rebuking me, and he's probably right.
Rightly so.
You know, I had an interesting dream. But,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's about Ian, but it has nothing to do with this song. So I mean, we were in a band because me and Sori are working on this song. It's coming out soon. William, we'll send it to you for free. Don't worry about it. And so we were touring this band, and for some reason, this other group didn't like us, and so they jumped Ian and beat him up and put him in the hospital. So then me and the other guitarist, who is a friend of mine from another life, we went to the hospital to check on Ian. We saw he was okay, and then we both went out and found the people that hurt Ian. And then we went back to the hospital. I said, Ian, everything's good. And Ian said, what did you do? And the other guy said, we made it right. And then Ian goes, you're not supposed to do that. You're not doing any fucking violence in my name, Vin. I'm not doing it correctly. And Peter was sitting there just being very quiet and European.
Yeah.
You know, but Ian was all his black eye. He's like, you're not supposed to do that, Vin. And then he said, well, what's all this Jesus stuff you're telling me about? And then you go out and do that. He's like, you're not doing any fucking violence in my name.
That's cute.
And
I could kind of see that happening.
I didn't know what to do. So I said,
What can be said? The man was right.
Well, there was another guy that wasn't. So we were supposed to clean up that situation, and I told the guy, I'm like, Jin, we can't. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, and then Jin's like, he's in the fucking hospital. What is he? He's brain damage. He's like, Vin. I said, Jin, no, you can't do it. Literally, that was his call sign, was Jin. But I said we couldn't do it, and so then Ian grabs my hand on the hospital bed. He starts praying for me. He says, hey, Jesus, please forgive Vin for not living up to his da-da-da-da and being full of shit and da-da-da-da. And Ian's praying for me and rebuking me. Ian's still an atheist in the dream.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's praying for me. So I just kissed him on the forehead and I said, all right, now I'm sorry, da-da-da, and we left. And I cried in my car, and that was the end of the dream.
Oh, that's cool. You know what? I also had a dream that was about.
Was it Ian?
No, it was Brian
You're not
from
dreaming about
Head.
Brian from Head?
I mean, Brian from Corn. Head.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
No, why? I would also say my dream. Why are you making that weird face?
Go ahead, tell your dream. The people want to know. This is going to be a very long review, William. I apologize.
So we're in this car, and in the back, I'm just kidding. No, I was just teasing him. He actually had this like special gift where he like knew things about people without them telling him in the dream. And then he started like he had kept it to himself for like a while, and then he started actually like using that when he was in different situations. Like he would like say stuff to people.
You should tell him. Because you're prophetic. Send him an email.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
I'll send him the link and timestamp it. I'll be like, listen to the dream I had about you.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, Captain...
The dog was really using it. It was really cool. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, you should tell him that. Text him something. All right. So Captain Howdy is a really evil motherfucker. You know what's interesting is that the song before that is Burn in Hell. That's the name of the song.
The one before.
Before.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's like, I looked at some of the lyrics. You can't believe all the things that I've done wrong in my life, yada, yada, yada. So, like, maybe this guy's like a really evil bastard, and he knows he's an evil bastard. Mm. And he just got these kids. And
that's so odd, my word.
And he basically...
That was freaky. The windows?
You know what was really strange? This is really strange. I'm like shooting from the hip here. I was almost relieved that there was nothing explicitly sexual done to the kids, but that he killed them. Like, I was waiting. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna do some horrible. He's gonna molest these kids. Then it turns out he kills them. Apparently, you know, because it says you can't sleep when you're dead. But I was almost like, oh, you see, isn't that weird? Like the way that we treat like. There's something about, like, especially when it comes to kids, there's something about wrecking a kid sexually at such a young age that's, but the other side of it, if it was in real life, if a person said...
You wouldn't want the kid dead.
I would want the kid home to their parents, right? So it's a weird thing, but I think it's because working in the downtown area, there were so many people that have been just brutal stories about. I mean, the worst one was a guy, and it was his parents used to sell him for drugs, you know?
Yeah. Oh, God, I can't even. So... You know, honestly, I put that out of my head because I can't.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing it back up.
And that guy is, you know, he's kind of in and out on the heroin thing, and it's one of those things where you kind of already prepare yourself. I'm already like preparing myself to see the RIP thing for him because it's just.
I think what bothers me so much about it is that parents are supposed to protect their kids, and there are times where a parent is busy or not paying attention, and something happens, and obviously the child is upset with the parents in a sense sometimes, you know, because they feel like why didn't you protect me? But like, if you know that like this bad horrible thing is happening to you, and you have to know that if the parents were participating in it to do that the person knew that everything was on the table, like they were not going to get in trouble for it because the parents were setting that kid up for that. And like to think that child was in that situation with that understanding and that knowledge that I just can't even, it makes me so upset. I could just,
there's so many horrible angles to like a song like this, right? Because you think about the kid, the loss of their innocence, their life is snuffed out, and then you think, you know, as a parent, you know, this is what 1984. You know, like we took a walk, you know, we took a quarantine walk or whatever, and the kids rode on ahead of us, and you were like, "Hey, is that okay?" And I'm like, when we were kids, we just went out and nobody saw us till sundown.
I worry about them all the time.
But, you know, like, it's not something that we can do anymore. Like, where your kids can just go off and you don't know where they are, and then they come back and bikes in the yard and, you know, we're good to go. Like, I cannot imagine doing that. I see kids riding down the street, you know, Dorian's age, and I'm like, yeah, that's what we did. We rode all over the place. We got lost and, you know, I would be a complete, and then I think to myself, like, okay, am I crazy? Am I like overbearing? Or is it we spent too much time down there and I spent too much time in the world seeing the worst of human beings, to where now it's like, you know what I mean? And I really don't know the answer to that question.
I know.
But at the same time, though, I don't see as many kids doing that.
Right.
I don't. So it's like, because back in the day, you couldn't, especially spring, summer, whatever. You couldn't drive down the street without seeing a bunch of kids, and we were all over the place, and you don't see. I'm not seeing that in our area, even before the COVID thing. And the one kid that I did see that's Dorian's age, just riding around by himself, we live very, very close to them, and they're in a very unique situation. Let me just put it that way. So
Yeah.
So I really don't know. I really don't know. But it's your worst nightmare. It's your worst nightmare as a parent.
I know.
I mean, we've never come anywhere close to that situation. There was one situation where an individual got a hold of Zoe's number, and
He never called again.
Yeah, he never called again. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a, yeah, I know. I think the same thing. My parents were very strict with us growing up. We could go to our cousin's house around the corner, and we could go to the little convenience store when we got a little bit older. It was very close. Literally, my aunt's house, it was across the street from my aunt's house. So it was in view, you know what I mean? And so they eventually started letting us go down the street to the Rite Aid. But I just feel like I never want to let our kids go, and it's very difficult for me to do it. Anytime that there's a chance for, if we need Dorian to go to the store, I always clear it with you first. I think the reason I do that is because I can't bear the guilt by myself if something happens to one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's so weird because with Dorian, when he's out by himself, I'm not worried about a Mr. Howdy or whatever,
No.
but there's a racial element because now Dorian's taller than me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
obviously we could see anybody can be gunned down we don't see everybody getting gunned down, right? That's for another review, but yeah.
Well, I think
there's just so many pitfalls.
With each of them, there's different things that I worry about. Dorian, he's big now. He doesn't look like a little boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's
his face, though, he still looks like a little boy.
Yeah, but he's so tall that it's not like,
I know.
A predator's going to be like, let me go for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Johan is more, he's so
100%.
Small and,
100%.
comports himself in such a way that he worries me. But with Dorian, oh my gosh, one time I took them to the library and he was going to drop off the books, but I am always in this mad, crazy rush. It doesn't matter where I'm going or what I'm doing. It's hard for me to slow down. I always am in a hurry. Unless even if you and I are there together, I feel the rush of oh, you want to leave. But if you're not there with me, I feel my own, I don't know why I'm like that. I've been like that all my life. So I was telling him, get right in, get right out, just go drop off those books and get right back in the car, blah, blah, blah. And I parked across the street from the library, and the cars were coming, pretty fast. But my parents, they drilled that into my head. You look both ways right across the street, look both ways right across the street. And so I was thinking he was going to look both ways right across the street. He was definitely old enough to know to do that. And he stepped out, and it was literally I don't even know, it was the grace of God. I don't even know how he didn't get hit, because he just stepped out, was not looking either way. He was in a hurry because I had rushed him. And there was no time for me to stop him or to push the horn, and I was I just thought, oh my God, I'm gonna watch him get hit right here. And oh my word. I'll tell you what, after that situation happened, and then he got back to the car, I don't even think he even knew how close it was, as close as I saw that it was. And then when he got back in the car, I was like, oh my, now I don't even let them. Now I just park on the same side as where the thing is. If I have to drive around twice, I will. I'm
it's just hard as a parent, man.
Yeah,
it's if you've never had a kid, it's just impossible to explain what it's like. Mm-hmm. And to think that there are that there are human beings in the world that
would on purpose want to hurt them.
I'm pretty open about, yeah. It's just very,
That's why I told
very, very
no.
difficult.
I always talk to the kids about like being a pacifist, and it's better if they don't own any weapons and stuff, because a lot of times that stuff goes wrong and your family members end up whatever, blah blah. I was talking to him about it, and then Dorian was like, so you under no circumstances would ever fire a gun at somebody. And I'm like, I'm not gonna freaking lie to the kid. I said, if I had a weapon in my hand and someone was going after any of my kids, I do not believe that I have it in me to stay a pacifist in those situations. I know I don't. Unless there was some supernatural crazy thing that happened in that moment, I don't have it. Like, it's done, it's over for you, and I literally don't think I'd feel an ounce of guilt about it. That is my kid. No. Like, you're not gonna hurt my kid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you've seen more things in the world, and maybe you think that, I'm delusional to think that I wouldn't feel bad about it. Like, maybe I just don't.
No, I don't think you'd feel bad about it.
Not my kids.
Yeah, I don't think you'd feel bad about it, and I don't know what I'd do.
When there's so many of them, because we have so many, it's like when I had just Selah, I really felt like that I had like this kind of false idea that I could really protect her, and I had control of that situation. Now we have so many kids between the two of us, and then we're having some of our own together, and it's a lot of kids, and so it's like you let Johan go out today, and then I saw him whipping around the corner on that oversized bicycle, and I was like, I panicked. I called you right away, and I was like, I don't. Yeah. But I kept thinking of him crossing the road with that stupid bicycle, too big for him, and he gets excited, and I feel like the weather is nice, and he's, going around meeting people or whatever, and it's just...
It's not one thing, it's another as a parent,
But then I have to say to myself, when are you going to just trust God? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you've got to trust God at some point that I can't tie them to the front steps.
Yeah.
They have to grow up, and they have to... But then you've got the Captain Howdys of the world, and then that makes me say, well...
Yeah, and I
They're not going to die sitting in the living room.
I came to an understanding of nonviolence very, very recently, obviously.
Right.
So, it's something that I believe, and it's something that I believe that's what Jesus told us to do. And, the situation that happened a few months back with Zoe was kind of like the first dry run where God kind of says, this is where you actually are with this. Mm-hmm. Because we were in situations where people would physically threaten us all the time. Mm-hmm. And I was great because it was me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So God's like, okay, well, what if it was,
Yeah.
And, it was one of those, I went to the Bible Boogie group, and I was like, hey, please pray for me if you're a praying person, blah, 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 blah. But man, I don't understand these people. That's the thing. The Captain Howdys of the world is that I've actually been in rooms with killers, like people who've killed multiple people. Mm-hmm. And as jacked up as it is, I understand. Mm-hmm. There's religious, socioeconomic issues that kind of create a certain type of mindset that, mm-hmm. and it's horrible, it's despicable, it's evil. But when I sit across from the guy and whatever, like I've said, I've said like I get you. I've told people like if I was in your situation, I get it. Mm-hmm. Like I understand. But this stuff. I don't understand. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, like, I could never work in that field. My brother worked in that field for a while, and he was trying to rehabilitate these dudes. And I'm not saying that people who do this to kids are like beyond redemption, because nobody's beyond redemption. But my brother, if you think I'm idealistic, I got all my idealism from my older brother. He's the most idealistic person I've ever met in my life. And he couldn't work with them anymore. He went to the other side where he could chase those guys down and you know.
Street justice. No, not
No.
So just kidding.
No, he's no. He's not doing that, but he's definitely administering God's word to those people.
Yeah.
In the Romans 13 sense. So, like, I don't understand these people at all. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it, like, what I got from my brother and other, you know, we had that call with the actual FBI because there was a situation, you know, here. And he goes, you know, a lot of these guys have been, you know, whatever, when they were a kid. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I don't care if it happened to you. As a matter of fact, it makes me more angry. It's like, so wouldn't you, knowing how screwed up that made you, wouldn't that make you, you know, not, you know, whatever. I can't understand that. Like, there's so many things that I went through as a kid where I'm like, man, one of the main reasons I love being a dad is so that they don't have to go through what I went through. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, being a kid and you know, girls and all this and not having a father figure to explain how that worked. You know, my stepdad, God bless him, he was just like, I just don't get anybody pregnant. That was the son. So like, but so I was like, I could never abandon my sons. I'll never abandon. It's like, I don't understand how this can happen to you, and you see the trajectory it puts your life on, and now you're doing it to other kids. Like I can't process. I don't get it. So and you know, ultimately as a Christian, it's not for me to judge.
You can imagine, like, and the kids, they must look so scared, and I just.
Yeah, I'm done with this part of the song. So stay tuned.
Are we gonna break it into 2 videos?
Yeah. Because we're at. Stay tuned. Part 2 is coming
Later today.
In the Underground Show, and we've got a bonus for you guys. So we're putting out content like crazy for you beautiful people because we're all in a crazy situation. But I'm not sure how much actual entertainment you're getting from these reviews. So there's also that. We'll see you at 7 Eastern Standard Time with Part 2. Been out.
Sorry, out.
Gone.